One time when we did catch a jukes or whatever, I ended up knocking the dude out. He ended up pointing me out and like 3 other people. So I ended up getting caught for that, and I basically took the rap, and I got charged with a gang assault. I was a juvenile, I was young, so I didn't get that much time. When this happened, I'd be like 13. Like I was always going to school, but like my mind wasn't always there. It always be on some other stuff. But like basically, I went to the group home. I did what I had to do. And I was doing good in school. My mind was on straight. Out of nowhere, I don't really remember when, but I got the news that my father had cancer. Like from my mother, he had cancer. So the whole time he was dying, I really ain't know that. Everything looked kind of up and up. But towards the end, I was coming home. Everything just started looking downward. Going through this with my father, having cancer, going through the chemo and everything. Watching his dreads fall out his head, waking up in the middle of the night, like him laying on the ground. I'm hearing loud noises, waking up in my sleep. He's laying on the floor. The one day that I happened to stay home from not being in the streets, the day I stayed home and I went and sat in my father's room on the respite. I was just sitting there, whatever. A couple hours later, he was just sitting there. You could tell he stopped breathing, even though the machine was on. His chest stopped moving, everything. Just he just stopped breathing. He died right in front of me. The day that I chose to stay home. And the whole time I was in the streets, I was running from that day to not be there because I didn't want to go through that and see that. So I watched my father pass away in front of my face. So after that, honestly, I didn't care about life. I felt like it was the end of the world. I didn't care about how my mother would feel. How my siblings would feel if I went out in the streets and did whatever. During that time, after that, me going back to school, during that time I got caught up in the car, and I got caught with crack. And during that time I caught a crack charge a month later, not knowing until almost a year later that I caught a cell in Damiek. They came and got me for a felony 1, 2009. And like I said, I was still doing good in school, and I was on my way. I passed that year. I was in 11th. I was on my way to 12th grade. I passed, so here I am on my way to 12th grade, 17. I get locked up. I ended up getting a 2-2. 2 years, 2 posts. I went to prison. Went up top. But I came home. I went into the GED program at the Job Corps. I enrolled in there, and I got accepted. A week before I was supposed to go in April, I got shot. I got shot right in front of my house. It was a drive-by. I got shot at 30+ times. I only got shot 1 time. The bullet went right through my back, it just missing my spine. Somewhere between there, my mind dozed off back to the streets. So I went back out there, started selling drugs again, not necessarily hard drugs, but I went back to the streets and slipped up, caught a violation. So now I'm back up top. I did 13 months. The whole time I was incarcerated, I was still thinking, I was always thinking about my education, but when you locked up, you think about it more. So I came home saying that I'm gonna get my diploma. Why settle for a GED? And that's what I did. A week out of jail, I came back, had a little school meeting, whatever. They let me come back to the high school. Honestly, I didn't want to be a statistic. Somebody that never made a dropout, somebody with no education. It's another dude that caught a felony, went to prison, ain't gonna be nothing in his life. Another person that they could say, oh, he's just gonna be standing on the corner for the rest of his life.
That's how you feel people think about you?
And people look at me and they know me and see what I did and see what I've been through. That's all they're gonna look at me and see is another statistic. Or he gonna be back in jail in a while, probably doing life for being dead. And I escaped both of that. Almost dying, and doing a bed, doing longer in jail, just doing jail time. So people don't see this side. People won't see this side. There's people that don't believe this. Honestly, people, they see this video, they're gonna be like, this dude's in school. Probably try to clown, oh, he's a lame because he go to school. But, I'm my own person at the end of the day. I don't care what nobody think, you feel me? I'm 21, I'm about to graduate, but I came back with bids under my belt. Time gone from school, and I still did this.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Honestly, I want to be like an advocate. I want to be like a counselor. I feel like at my age and time, I've been through a lot, and I want to share it with somebody else that's going through it, another troubled kid that has the same similarities of just having an I don't care attitude and that reckless mind state. That ain't gonna get you nowhere. You're hurting yourself at the end of the day. I mean, you're hurting everybody around you. At the end of the day, it ain't all about you. It's all about the people that care and love, that love you and care for you. You're hurting them more than you're hurting yourself. My name is Damiek Degroate, and I am Undroppable.